Good afternoon. This is Nicholas from Gandora Gaming, and this is my Mutant Ghoti deck profile 2023 post Banlist, post Cyberstorm access. And yeah, I think this deck is definitely really fun. And going into the new format, I think this deck has huge potential. The deck is just really, really cool. It does things that no one else does. Well, at least no one knows what it does. Plus, it does things that other people just don't do. So let's just go straight into this. If you don't know, Mutant Ghoti is actually one of my favorite decks that came out last year. Ghoti are just a really cool mechanic. I think my favorite mechanic in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is when you summon monsters on your opponent's turn. For example, that's the reason why I really love Punk and why I love the Gold Pride so much, is that they synchro and fusion summon on your opponent's turn, allowing you to make multiple plays. Crystons do the same thing, and Ghoti is no exception. Ghoti's whole gimmick is that they synchro summon on your opponent's turn, and the mutants fusion summon on your opponent's turn. And their levels kind of line up, and they're all about banishing cards. So honestly, this deck, these two work very, very well together. Now, I've seen other builds where you can play just pure mutant, and you can also just play pure Ghoti as decks now. But personally, I feel like both these archetypes have a lot of things in common. They're both archetypes that Konami kind of forgot about. Don't get me wrong, I love both these archetypes, Mutant and Ghoti, but I feel like after like their one wave of support, Konami has not touched them. Now, I think Konami may have made an announcement and like when they're like not an announcement, but like one of their things that the OCG was finally going to get Ghoti, meaning we're probably going to get a third wave of support, in which case I speak too soon and I spoke too soon, and maybe Ghoti is going to get a third wave that completely breaks the deck, so highly pick them up now. But as of right now, Ghoti doesn't have a lot of support. It's been almost a year since they came out. They had one wave and that's it. I guess that's the same thing about a lot of archetypes. For example, I know Gold Pride just got its second wave, but we don't know when the third wave is coming out. And a couple other TCG exclusive archetypes. But Ghoti, and here's the other thing. Mutant is an archetype that literally had no support for an entire year. They got one card as a common, and that was it. And I feel really bad because Mutants came out in a very, very powerful set. It came out in a set Photon Hype. It's not Photon Hypernova. Phantom of. It was a set with Tri Brigade, Virtual World, and the Phantom Knights, I believe. It was a very, very crazy set. And yeah, out of all those archetypes that became meta, Ghoti never really had its time in the sun because we never got really a second wave. To this day, Mutants really only have one wave. We got one support card, which is cool, but we really haven't had a second wave of support, which is kind of ass. I feel like Konami's really fucking that up, and we definitely need a second wave. Now, don't get me wrong, the Ghoti definitely boosts the ceiling of this deck, and also Banlist changes definitely help the ceiling of this deck. For example, Macro Cosmos and Fissure going to 3 definitely helps this deck out. But the biggest issue, reason why you wouldn't play this deck over other banished decks, is just those other banished decks are just so much stronger. Cash Tira literally is the best deck right now, and having a Macro Cosmos on field against Cash Tira honestly just benefits them more than it hurts. Same thing goes for like Flu. Flu is just a better banished deck overall than Mutant and Ghoti individually. But I think if you combine them together and play a couple other engines, the deck can actually do some crazy nutty things. So let's just go by the card by card and let's go over this. So mutants have here's the gimmicks. Basically, there's 3 main deck monsters that really matter. That's M-05 mutant. That's M-046 mutant. And there's also mutant. These ones are little guys. They're the ones that tag out into the bigger dudes. And their whole gimmick is that when they're normal or special summoned, basically they add either a spell or trap, or they do something else. Mutant, the green one, is basically, hey, on normal or special, you add a mutant monster. And ST46, which is the darker one, or like the more purplish one, that one adds a spell or trap, which is pretty insane. And then they all have an effect where you can tag themselves out by tributing them to then special summon a mutant from the deck or hand by banishing a card from your hand or field. with the same typing. So not the same typing, but it's like a certain kind of card. For example, they all have the text where if you banish a monster from hand, you summon out Beast. If you banish a spell from hand, you summon out Mist. If you banish a trap from hand, you special summon out Arsenal. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell are these monsters? Well, we're only playing 2 of them. We're only playing 2 Arsenal and 2 Beast. These are kind of like our main deck boss monsters. One of them is a quick effect spell negate by banishing a card from hand or field. And the other one is a quick effect monster banish when an opponent activates a monster effect. Now, you also have to banish a card from hand or field as well to activate that effect. Overall, these cards are really, really solid, but by themselves aren't really a game plan strategy. The last mutant in the main deck that we're playing is Myutant, which is a 2 of. The only reason why we're playing 2 of this card is because it burns you for a lot of life points. So when you tag out into your mutants, you take life points basically equal to its original attack. So if you tag out to Mutant Arsenal, you take 3,000. If you tag out to Beast, you take basically 24, which is a lot of life points. So you only really need 2 of this guy, and that's basically about it. That's it for our mutants in the main deck, well, at least the monster-wise. For the Ghoties, we're just playing 2-2. We're playing 2 Paces and 2 of the, of course, our lovely, what is this thing called? What's it called? Shift. Basically, they're just the best ones. And I think the other one was really, really good too, but I learned my lesson from the previous video I made on this deck, where if it has, when it only special summons itself and then immediately quick synchros when it's banished, which is pluses and downsides to that card. Like, a plus side is that it's quick effect, it just does it. But the problem is it's immediately as you banish it, so it doesn't have the ability to just like choose when you want to do it. It just, once you banish it, it's triggering, and you just gotta do it from there. Overall, they're really, really strong cards, and they're tuners, so they line up really well because we have 8. So the boss sponsor for the Ghoties is basically a banish all cards on field on synchro summon, and it's a 10. So 8 plus 2 equals 10. Also, when the Ghoties are banished during the standby phase of either player's turn, they return onto the field. They special summon themselves once per turn each, which is pretty insane because the Ghoties actually help one of Mutant's biggest issues, which is card advantage. One of the biggest issues of Mutants is that they have to banish a card from hand or field in order to summon one from deck, which means it was a -2 to do it. But now that you're banishing the Ghoties, they come back anyway. So you're really not really minusing yourself. You're just extending onto the field, which is really, really strong. Emergency Teleport is also really good in his deck because all the little level mutants are psychics, which is very, very helpful to help you spam the board. We're also playing the Psy Reflector package. Now, there's other packages you can play. I just think Psy Reflector is the coolest one, and it's the best, like, in archetype thing. Well, it's not really in archetype, but it's like best way to modulate levels. So, Psychic Reflector can basically become any synchro you want. You do have to play 2 bricks in the deck, but who cares? Because honestly, the trap isn't really that big of a brick anymore because the worst comes to worst, so you can banish it off a mutant effect, and then bam, you get an arsenal from deck, which is pretty solid. Also, a deck just helps you level modulate to make your synchros. One of the biggest issues with the previous mutant builds I had was that I was trying to summon out Serpent of the Ghoti, who's a really, really powerful card. It's a Synchro 6 that basically says on Synchro Summon, you get to banish 1 level 6 or lower fish from your deck, which is really, really solid. And then if it uses fusion material, you can target 1 fish in your graveyard, banish that target. If you do, add 1 fish monster that equals or lower level than the deck to your hand. Really, really powerful monster. The issue was the Ghoti and Mutant didn't have really easy access to this card. Well, I guess Ghoti does. Ghoti, if you're playing like a more pure build, you could definitely access the level 6 guy really easy. Mutant, on the other hand, cannot. Like I said, we specialize on making 8 and 4s and I guess 10s, and that's really about it. So, yeah, in order to absolutely summon this guy, we had to play another engine, and that's why I thought this engine was perfect because you're already playing Emergency Teleport. Not to mention, like I said, the trap isn't a brick because you can always banish it off for Arsenal, and worst comes to worst, we could do anything from there. Now, the other issue with this deck, with playing this engine, was that sometimes you have too many normal summons in hand. Like sometimes you would open a hand of like ST46. Actually, ST46 isn't the issue because it will get you the field spell, which will allow you to special summon one of them. Maybe like ST46, MO5, and like Cyber Reflector in hand, and you'd be like, what do I normal summon? Right? That was the biggest issue. But now, because of our beautiful, beautiful previous set, we have a new spell card in the form of Time Rendering Morganite. Now, Time Rendering Morganite actually helps this deck a lot because it gives us 2 normal summons. One of the biggest issues with Ghoti is that if you stop the normal summon, sometimes they didn't do anything afterwards. If you like, for example, let's say you have 2 of the, you have MS46 and you have MO5 in hand. You'll number summon the MS46 to get a field spell, and the field spell will allow you to special summon 1 from hand, so you have 2 extenders. The problem is they're like Veil or Ash or whatever to you, and you literally can't do that anymore. And they imperm you, that's even worse because now you can't even tag out into whatever. So that's a big no-no. But Time Rendering Morganite kind of fixes that issue because, yes, it does lock you from activating cards from hand, but you'll actually only play 1 card that activates in the entire hand, and that card is this guy right here, the Assault Beast, who's our 1 brick of the deck, which is very easy to get out of our hand. Luckily, we can just discard him to search our Assault Mode activate. These are the only 2 bricks in the deck, and we can still play without them. Worst comes to worst, they just become banished fodder for the mutants. Ain't a big deal. Now, that's the one thing with Time Rendering Morganite. Like I said, it does stop half from working. But we can still keep going from there. This deck also just likes to synchro modulate. So we also got Excel Synchron last year. Excel Synchron is absolutely insane for Ghoti because not only are we already playing level 2s, but it allows us to have more access to things like Baron, which is absolutely insane because you can synchro into a Baron and then basically just be Baron control plus the fusions and plus Arsenal. There's a lot of really cool things this deck can do, and I kind of just want to show you all. Also, I should mention the other cards in the deck. We're also playing 3 Mutant Cry. This is the fusion spell. Basically, during the main phase, you can fuse summon 1 fusion mutant monster by shuffling the fusion materials from deck, field, or graveyard, which is amazing because one of the biggest other issues of Mutant is that you might banish all your copies, go through Beast and Arsenal really quickly because you're only playing 2/2 because they're bricks in hand. But you might go through them by banishing them or getting them summoned. I mean, like, oh shit, I can't. The little guys are just bricks now because they can't tag out into anyone because there's no one left to tag out to. Well, luckily, Cry not only makes a fusion monster, which is a pop, but also shuffles them back, which is absolutely insane. And of course, because we're a banished deck, we can play Fissure and Macro very easy in this deck. And then the lineup for the synchros is just very standard. We're playing, of course, the Ghoti monster, the Deep Beyond. We're playing Spirit of Ghoti. We're playing, I'm trying out all of them, the Briacorn, the Ghoti. I'm trying them all out. They're really, really cool cards. I'm playing the Stardust, the Excel Synchron, the Baron de Fleur. We also have T-Shao because T-Shao is amazing. Basically, that's a gains attack for every banished card, just like our Ghoti of Deep Beyond. And he's also just a quick effect banish, which is really solid. I also put in our level 9, what's it called? Virtual World QB, just because he also helps you recycle banished cards. Also, it's not that bad. And I'm also playing 1 Herald of Arclight because, funny enough, our level 2 Mutant plus any Ghoti makes this guy, which does come up in a video I'm about to show you. So let me actually show you the actual duel. Let's actually go into this. So hope you all enjoy. And yeah, if you want to play a very fun and casual but strong deck going forward post this ban list that isn't named Punk, because that's, that's my favorite deck. Actually, Punk isn't really, this is a very cheap deck. Punk is pretty expensive. If you want a very cheap and powerful and very fun deck that does a lot of different things, this is the deck for you. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy. Don't do anything stupid. Let's get on to the duel. Alright, so let's actually go over my duel against Cashier. Now, you can see my hand is not great. I opened 3 copies of the same guy. I did open a 1-for-1, so I tried to go for the side the side package, but he negates it with an Ash Blossom. So I go, okay, cool. I guess I'll just go for the normal basic Ghoti board, and I'll pass my turn here. So this is basically my end board after I drew 3 copies of the same monster. And yeah, this is a quick effect monster. Well, spell negate and a quick effect synchro summon. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to synchro summon into the Deep Beyond. I'm just going to banish this guy. And yeah, that's really about it. He summons Fenrir effect search. At first, I thought he was just playing normal Cash. It looks like he's playing Punk Cash. That's the reason why he's playing the Emergency Teleport. He's still doing plays, making his board do his thing. Luckily, he's playing with the modern ban list, so he's not ending on the stupid Mind Hacker bullshit, because that stuff is banned. So as long as I can just play through his setup, we should be fine. My puny little Ghoti is only a 1500 attack, but that's fine. We're going to get him bigger right now. Now he's equal to the Unicorn, which is pretty solid. He's activating the guy. Whatever. I'm trying to go for the Psy-Frame package. And basically what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try to Synchro Summon into our Synchro 6 so that I can get another Ghoti in line and just go from there. Luckily, we also have this field spell, which is going to come in handy in a second here. So we're going to keep going. We make ourselves this guy. Now, if he was playing a more pure Cash build, we probably would have lost his duel. But luckily, he's playing Punk Cash. And because I negated his Emergency Teleport, he can't really do much. He does have the call by for my 46, which really sucks. But what can you do? I decided to go for Battle Phase, kill that thing, and then go from here. They're in a standby. I would get 2 summons, but he actually blocked one of my zones. So instead, I have to summon out this guy right now. And we're going from here. So our opponent threatens ourselves with the Punk level 3. I can't let that thing resolve, so I go Banish. I also go Chain, so he can't do the Draw 1 effect, which actually comes in handy because if he drew 1, he probably would have drew something crazy. So I say, no field spell for you. He makes himself a big-ass Rise Heart, and he banishes my field spell, which sucks. And then he also starts equipping the Ghotis from the Banish Zone, which really sucks because that prevents them from coming back. The reason why that really sucks is because they would come back during the standby phase, and he actually could contest the big guy. But because the big guy can keep equipping them, they're going to be material. So that actually really fucking blows. We don't even draw that good. We draw Paces here. We normal summon him. I'm surprised he didn't shotgun the Banish. I make ourselves a Baron. Now he tries for the Banish. I negate. That was his fault. He should have actually just went for the Banish, but I guess he didn't know I was playing Baron. Actually, he should know. He ripped our cards down the extra deck. But that's just on him, I guess. And now we're on a stalemate. I activate the, what's it called? All my guys in grave. I also activate Baron just because he's just going to be contested anyway. I summon out this dude. I just make myself a wall. He summons out Fenrir, and he normal summons Xiamen. That's literally the 2 best cards in his whole deck. Don't ask me why he adds Deer Note to hand out of all the cards he adds. And then he makes his own Baron. I think he just massively misplayed. I think he should have added Foxy Tune. And I guess he ran... I think what the idea was that he was going to use the Fenrir effect. I think he ran out of Fenrirs. I activate this, set 1, and pass. I'm kind of just top decking. Luckily, my opponent isn't drawing shit, which is really solid. I don't know why he doesn't activate Theosis. I guess maybe he already went through all his copies, so he actually can't activate the Theosis. He's just spinning out his deck. I draw 2 off the Morganite. I activate Morganite effect because I actually needed to resolve. So I could tribute summon this guy, beat over his freaking Unicorn. He goes from here, he draws into a Cosmic Cyclone, he sets it, and then we're just in a top deck war. Luckily, I'm drawing 2 while he's only drawing 1. I activate my beautiful Mutant, and he concedes because he actually is going to die because I'm going to make a Arsenal and win the duel. So, yeah, that's really about it. I hope you all enjoy. I know it's not the most pure Cash build, but it's definitely a cool variant. I think he definitely misplayed not using the Baron to basically contest things, but oh, not the Baron. What's it called? I think he should have definitely banished once I had a 8 on the field, but he didn't, or at least a level 2 tuner. And yeah, I won that duel fair and square, and I hope you all enjoy. Till then, stupid. I'll see you all next one. Bye bye.